All right. Uh, Amit Prabhu, will you be able to read?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Please go ahead.
Uh, Sa evam maya te daya te dya yoga prokta puratana bhakto se me sakha seti rahasyam ke idam uttamam. Translation: That very ancient science of the relationship with the Supreme is today told by me to you, because you are my devotee as well as my friend, and can therefore understand the transcendental mystery of this science. Purport: There are two classes of men, namely the devotee and the demon. The Lord selected Arjuna as the recipient of this great science owing to his being a devotee of the Lord. But for the demon, it is not possible to understand this great mysterious science. There are a number of editions of this great book of knowledge. Some of them have commentaries by the devotees, and some of them have commentaries by the demon. Com- Commentation by the devotees is real, whereas that of demons is useless. Arjuna accepts Sri Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and any commentary on the Gita following in the footsteps of Arjuna is real devotional service to the cause of this great science. The demonic, however, do not accept Lord Krishna as he is. Instead, they concoct something about Krishna and mislead general readers from the path of Krishna instructions. Here is a warning about such misleading paths. One should try to follow the disciplic succession from Arjuna and thus be benefited by this great science of Srimad Bhagavad Gita.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Amit Prabhu. I'll just try to summarize and highlight a few points from this verse. So now, Krishna is again repeating that this very ancient science of the relationship with the Supreme, highlighting that how the science has been coming from time immemorial, from ages and ages. In the first verse, he said that I first gave this to the sun god Vivashwan, who gave it to the Manu, and then that was given to the king Ikshvaku, who comes in the lineage of Lord Ramachandra. So that way, Krishna is telling Arjuna that this is a very ancient science and that I am going to tell you. And now he's telling that why I am telling you, because Arjuna displays two qualities, one that he is a devotee and the other that he is a friend. It is important that we understand that what these qualities actually imply. What they actually mean is that Krishna is giving this science, giving this knowledge to Arjuna because Arjuna is non-envious. He's not envious of Krishna. Because he's a friend, he has a loving relationship with Krishna. And he has that humble disposition. He has that he's willing to take that humble stand with Krishna to learn this knowledge. As we will see in the next verse about that humble stand that Arjuna takes in order to learn this knowledge. So that's why it is said that we have to learn this knowledge from the right disciplic succession that is coming down. Because this knowledge is always pure. But when this knowledge gets contaminated by the commentaries of demons or people who are trying to get their way through the knowledge, like we discussed last time also, there are many, many commentaries on Bhagavad Gita. In fact, it is said Bhagavad Gita is probably one of the most commented books in the history because people try to take the meaning of they try to nitpick some parts of the Bhagavad Gita that suit them and they would try to uh, further their own cause. But what Krishna is telling over here is that he is sharing all of this with Arjuna because he wants us to learn it in that way in which he intended it to be as a whole and not in bits and pieces, so that we can relish the sweetness of this knowledge and learn it and apply it in our life. I hope this makes some sense. If anyone has any questions or comments, please feel free to add before we move on to the next verse. All right, moving on. Uh, Dr. Sujit, will you be able to read? Okay. Francesco, will you be able to read?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, I can recite the Sanskrit. Arjuna Vacha Aparam Bhavato Janma Param Janma Vivasvata Katham Etad Vijaniyam Tvam Ado Proktavaniti. Please go ahead.
Arjuna said, his son God, Vivasvan, is senior by birth to you. How am I to understand that in the beginning you instructed these signs to him? Purport. Arjuna is an accepted devotee of the Lord. So how could he not believe Krishna's word? The fact is that Arjuna is not inquiring for himself, but for those who do not believe in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or for the demons who do not like the idea that Krishna should be accepted as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For them, only Arjuna inquires on this point, as if he were himself not aware of the personality of Godhead or Krishna. As it will be evident for the 10th chapter, Arjuna knew perfectly well that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the fountainhead of everything, and the last word in transcendence. Of course, Krishna also appeared as the son of Devaki on this earth. How Krishna remained the same supreme personality of Godhead, the eternal original person, is very difficult for an ordinary man to understand. Therefore, to clarify this point, Arjuna put this question before Krishna so that he himself could speak authoritatively. That Krishna is the supreme authority is accepted by the whole world, not only at present, but from time immemorial, and the demons alone reject him. Anyway, since Krishna is the authority accepted by all, Arjuna put this question before him in order that Krishna would describe himself without being depicted by the demons, who always try to distort him in a way understandable to the demons and their followers. It is necessary that everyone, for his own interest, know the signs of Krishna. Therefore, when Krishna himself speaks about himself, it is auspicious for all the worlds. To the demons, such explanation by Krishna himself might appear to be strange because the demons always study Krishna from their own standpoint. But those who are devotees heartily welcome the statements of Krishna when they are spoken by Krishna himself. Devotees will always worship such authoritative statements of Krishna because they are always eager to know more and more. And more and more about him. The atheists who consider Krishna an ordinary man might in this way come to know that Krishna is superhuman, that he is Satchit Ananda Vigraha, the eternal form of bliss and knowledge, that he is transcendental, and that he is above the domination of the modes of material nature and above the influence of time and space. A devotee of Krishna, like Arjuna, is undoubtedly above any misunderstanding of the transcendental position of Krishna. Arjuna's putting this question before the Lord is simply an attempt by the devotee to defy the atheistic attitude of persons who consider Krishna to be an ordinary human being, subject to the modes of material nature.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much,
Thanks.
Francesco. Uh, so now this highlights this. There's a very important question that Arjuna is highlighting over here. Now, Arjuna is asking Krishna that Krishna, both of you, we are contemporaries. And then how can you say that you have given this knowledge to the sun god, who is much, much senior to us by birth, who's very much old? If I say something to my friend that I have taught your grandfather or your great grandfather this thing, that is supposed to get that person perplexed. That how is that even possible? It's not adding up logically. So that is why Arjuna is asking this question in order to understand. But now we see that some things that are worth highlighting over here is that how Arjuna is asking this question. In the last verse, we discussed that how the qualification that Krishna gives Arjuna is that he has a loving, humble standpoint in order to learn this knowledge. He is not telling Krishna that Krishna, what you're saying does not make sense, please explain. He's trying to say, how am I to understand? He's trying to tell Krishna that this is my limitation. He's taking a humble standpoint over here in order to explain us that what is the mood in which we ask questions when we are trying to learn from a teacher. Because if you remember, as part of the second chapter, Arjuna declared Krishna that I am now perplexed and you teach me. So he has given Krishna that position of a teacher. So that's why Arjuna is taking the humble standpoint over here and teaching us how we humbly ask questions in order to learn this. So now Krishna is going to explain further as to what is his position and why. How do we understand that Krishna is been there from time immemorial and how he has taught this? So those that was one point. The other thing that I wanted to also highlight was this: to the demons, such explanation of Krishna may appear strange, because Krishna also says in the Bhagavad Gita that ye yatha mam prapadyante, that I will help you, or I reciprocate in the way you approach me. In the same way, Krishna helps us understand, if we have that humble standpoint, if we have that eagerness to study this, even though these concepts may sometimes become difficult, but if we have that eagerness, Krishna will provide us with the right intelligence and the right means and right guidance for us to understand all of these concepts. And that's why the devotee is always willing to learn here more and more, because these are descriptions and it helps us develop a stronger relationship with Krishna. And that's why they are willing to hear more and more about him. So those were a few points that I wanted to highlight. If anyone wants to add anything or has any question regarding these things that we discussed, please feel free to ask.
So, can I ask a question, Prabhuji?
Yeah, Prabhu, please go ahead.
So, can this also be seen from the perspective of importance of asking questions for any for a absolute clarification? Because, like probably what you said, uh, um, one aspect would have been that Arjuna's best friend is saying this, and he could have accepted it, but still he is asking this question in a submissive mode to ensure that whatever he is hearing, he is having absolute clarity about it, right? So it's, can it be seen as even if there are confusions or some clarity is needed, it's very important to ask these questions to advance further?
Absolutely. That's a very important point that you're highlighting, Prabhu, that uh, it is very important that this can be seen, and this shows us the mood of an ideal student. That Arjuna now is a student, so that's why he's asking his questions, but not in a challenging spirit in order to challenge the authority of his teacher, but in a mood of understanding and getting that complete confidence of satisfying his inquisitiveness in order to learn the right thing. So yes, it is very important that we ask questions, and this is at the very beginning of when the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita is now going to get deeper and deeper as we progress. So Krishna is asking questions. Arjuna keeps on asking questions time and again. The entire Bhagavad Gita, if you see how it progressed from the second chapter to the third chapter, it is all about Arjuna asking relevant questions and then Krishna going into depth in answering those questions. So it is very important that we ask questions and we clarify what we want to understand, but not in a mood that we try to prove our point by in an argumentative mood, that I'm asking you a question just to prove my point, in a humble mood of learning.
Mm.
Does that help?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Does anyone have any other questions or any other comments? So, it's almost 9:20. So we'll start with the next verse tomorrow because it's just like 10 seconds left. Thank you everyone for joining. I'm really grateful for all of you to join and help us learn and discuss all of this. If anyone has any final questions or any comments that they want to add before we go end for today, please feel free to add. All right, then. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.